we have another name in order for her to utilize her effect.
Yeah, just kind of contemplating what possibly could be that set card now as well by Samir, and if there's more reactions from Herman here. We're going to be revealing, I could imagine, the rotary and another Rico. We're going to be getting the rotary into the field of play here. Is there going to be a removal? There is a removal with the Fallen and the Virtuous. We saw how powerful that card was for both Herman and Joshua in round number 10, and now we're going to see how effective it is against Samir. Removing the cool tune monsters from the field seems to be the best way to stop them going much further. And an Ash Blossom in response to the Titaniclad during the end phase, and a draw for Herman of his turn.
I mean, for quite fields that Herman could not able to establish and just setting one card, he starts to trying to find his engine by the sense of Titaniclad that was sent through the effect of Fallen and the Virtues. And I want to talk about this card. I feel like it is amazing during the whole weekend, and it feels like it is every deck, right?
Yeah, it's one of the highest premium cards here, but it looks like Herman did not get a starter card from the Elfnote strategy for the draw for turn. We're just going to be attacking with the Harmonia as well, doing a decent chunk of damage to Samir's life points. Passing back over to Samir. We know he has that Rico in the hand. Is there going to be another interaction from Herman here as well?
How many cards does Herman has in his hand right now? It is 4?
So he would have gone through 2 during turn 1, drawn for turn, so yeah, currently 4 cards.
So can assume that maybe he has at least one interaction, right? And Rotary will be activate the effect, revealing Ghost Bell and someone in the field.
Yeah, so this is quite an interesting one as well, because usually you don't want to be revealing your hand interactions on this, but we are going to be able to resolve. We're going to be able to get into Trackmaker. If this fully resolves, we will be seeing exactly what Herman has in the hand. Going Chainlink 1, Cool Tune Rotary, Chainlink 2, Cool Tune Trackmaker. Is there an action from Herman here to either stop the Trackmaker more commonly than trying to interact with the Rotary here? And it doesn't look like there is. We're going to...
Oh yeah, because Samir needs to add first with effect of Trackmaker, and later Herman reveals the hand to resolve Rotary, because Rotary goes Chainlink 1.
Yeah, and that is a very interactive hand, quite a bit.
Magnamut, Ash Blossom, Harmonia, and 2 copies of Harmonia.
Yep, double Harmonia here.
And with 1 in the field also? 3 copies of Harmonia.
Yeah, I feel that Herman, because obviously there was that point there where maybe Herman could have interacted with the Trackmaker as it was the Chainlink 2 with the Harmonia, but very well held there because of the pure fact that you want to try and maximize the advantage from Harmonia on that one. So when you are revealing your cards, you ideally want to resolve the destruction effect of Harmonia and then a return effect with the Malong as well that could be sent from the extra deck. And we're going to synchro straight up into the possible Zalen here as well.
You're correct, Zalen has been summoned in the field, and I believe right now Samir can control pretty well with all the knowledge that he has from Herman's hand. And if also Q is utilized as a synchro material, it can also have some access to the top deck.
Yeah, and we already know that there is not much extension here. I suppose the only saving grace for Herman on that one, if the top deck is manipulated, is that we do have that Magnamut that could resolve. But also take into account that we know all 3 Harmonias are already out of the deck. So the Magnamut might not even be able to resolve, depending on what other dragons we could use. As of yet, but you can imagine there might be a Fallen and the Fallen
we have
Balbaz
Harmonia in the graveyard, right? So we can just
oh yeah, it's very, very true. Yeah, add that back. But you kind of want to manipulate the deck.
The deck,
yeah. If Samir was to attempt to, because you want to put Herman in a bit more of a disadvantaged position there and give a card that he's probably not going to get much use out of off of the top here. But we probably, off of the 7, we have access, but I believe we need another Synchro Monster in order to grab B2B to put the aggressive push here. We are going to utilize the Magnamut targeting the Cool Tune Trackmaker in the graveyard, resolving the Magnamut, and then attempting to activate the effect, which will resolve, and chaining the Harmonia from Samir himself as well. That is going to be very effective here.
And we can also negate the effect of Magnamut with Zalen also.
Correct.
Right now.
Is that...
Yeah, I believe that's it.
Okay, so Herman gathers up the cards, has seen more than enough here. Very well done by Samir. A little bit unfortunate on Herman's side that there was a lot of interaction, but as we mentioned, that's kind of the risk and reward of the type of build when you have so much non-engine and not waste to completely bridge. But, you know, we might see what's going to happen in game 2.
And this is what I really like about Kewl, that in the hands of a very experienced player like Samir, obviously, it feels very scary when you provide those players the knowledge of the hand and also they can manipulate the top deck. It feels like it is one of those scenarios that you really want to face, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder right now what's the options from Herman's side, breaking from the side deck. I don't know if we can have a look on it.
Yeah. So if we take a look at the side deck for Herman on this one, we do have a Harpy's Feather Duster, we've got Solemn Judgment, Called by the Grave, Mulchummy, Perulia, but you can probably imagine that apart from the Solemn Judgment, they might not come in, maybe the Called by the Grave as well if you're going to be going first. Then on the other side of that, we have Dominus Impulse, which can be quite effective, depending on what we want to try and achieve with that, but you need to remember the attribute restrictions sometimes. But another interesting card we have here is Retaliating Sea.
You believe that he is going to side it in, I guess, Yugioh?
I think it's very risky to do it. Yes, taking away the graveyard can be quite effective because a lot of the Cool Tune monsters need to go to the graveyard in order to perform or to get their additional effects, and Rotary to get their knowledge, and Q to get the knowledge. But I feel that going first is not going to be that applied, especially because when you need to rely, you will build your field, they then need to activate Cool Tune Synchro, then you can activate the Retaliating Sea, and it seems like a step too far, definitely for going first. I feel, if anything here, we're probably going to stick with our own strategy. I can imagine that if he is on Mulchummy for Loss in the main deck, they're definitely going to be coming out, and I think we'll definitely see Solemn Judgment, Call by the Grave, and then his decision of one more card to come in at the very least.
And I believe that is one of those scenarios that Elfnote Patron, if they can actually find a play, and in order to not just set one card and pass again, it feels very scary to let such a deck go first. And from Samir's side, when playing Kewl, I think that you really need to find those hand traps, and I think this is why you bring such a deck in this event, in order to be able to face any combo deck and feel prepared, meaning that you just don't wait for a Fugalos or Perulia to be drawn. Instead, you have your whole deck being prepared for a combo deck, having all those hand traps in the main deck and in the side deck in order to face any potential threat of a combo deck such as Elfnote Patron.
Yeah, exactly. We saw how powerful and versatile the Elfnote Power Patron strategy is in round number 10. We saw that the ideal end field is a Crystal Wing, sometimes backed up with an FA Dawn Dragster, and then also you have the Elfnote Trap card, which allows you to ultimately revive a monster and negate, and then you add Tania into that one as well, which gives you a bit more hand restrictions for your opponent, being able to take one more card away from it. And as you've worked your way up into that one as well, you've possibly also gone through a Cypher Lord Omega, so you're really limiting your opponent's resources as they try to build. And it looks like our duelists are going to be ready for this one, so we're going to go straight over to the table and we'll see what has come in, what has come out, and who is going to be taking game number 2. Okay, over to the table here. I would be very, very shocked if Herman decides not to go first on this one. So we're going to see if the opening hand is any better for him on this one. Calling standby main phase and being instantly hit with a Mulchummy for Loss from Samir straight away. And we're going to start off with the Power Patron Portal Terminal. Very good card on these. The Power Patrons themselves actually add another layer to the Elfnote strategy, but they can also add to the many other decks that the Power Patrons can float into alongside like your Archmages and your Doom Z's as well. But this is going to get us direct access to Midius of the Pure, which is kind of a very good premium normal summon, and it's going to get instantly met with the Effect Veiler, one of those hand interactions you previously mentioned.
Yes, it is one of those reasons why you... And I think that Herman just passed turn to Samir, right?
Yeah, it did look like that.
And it is one of those scenarios where you want to bring Yugioh. Synchro Overtake will be activated. And I think that Samir right now is in a very good spot, meaning that Herman probably has side out a lot of hunters maybe going first. And we can definitely see that he might have some issues with his consistency right now, as we saw in first game. And Samir, I think that showcases why Kewl it was a good choice for this weekend.
Yeah, exactly that. So we're going to get direct access to the Cool Tune mix, being able to add a Cool Tune monster that is not a level 2, so one of the more powerful ones being Rotary, but also Q, and met instantly with a Droll and Lockbird from Herman here. Does limit a bit more resource.
But is it enough though? Droll and Lockbird, it is a good card, but Kewl can play pretty easily around it, and we have not yet utilized our normal summon.
Yeah.
And we have added Q, so we can just normal summon Q, special summon, even Ash Blossom at this scenario.
Yeah, I definitely think that this could get a bit, and we're going to get the Harmonia. So this is definitely a premium spot to be hitting or utilizing your Fredrolis Harmonia here, because this is where you're going to be able to, yes, the Q will resolve, but you will have the option to get rid of the levels that could be the most effective. So you usually end up getting rid of Q, because Q is the level 3, and then you're probably going to be seeing Samir try and summon out maybe another level 2 to get access to that track maker, but it also stops the Q being able to manipulate the top deck of Herman as well.
And we have been under roll also, so I don't think that we will go for track maker here.
Yes.
It is quite a spot, to be honest, because under roll you are very limited in this scenario against Harmonia, and Herman has 2 more cards in his hand.
Yeah, maybe we do just go for a remix and maybe recycle that Effect Veiler, but even then that's going to be kind of limited depending on what else Herman has in hand. You can imagine that apart from the top card here, there is no access to an Elfnote monster. We might have seen that. So Samir just having a look, and we're going to go for another for Q.
Can we do that?
I don't
or we
think,
need
yeah.
it with different name.
I think it's different name. Yeah, except Cool Tune Q. I mean, if we still want the level 3, we go for Rico here. That does open up the option for RS and also the option for the remix here, which I think might be what we go for with Samir. It does also give the option to destroy one of the monsters that Herman has. So we're going to go for the remix. Going to get rid of the Fredrolis Harmonia, which is pretty good here because it does put a tuner into Herman's graveyard, making the remix strong enough to deal with the Medius de Pure.
So as you mentioned, we have Summon Remix and just want to utilize the effects to get Veiler in draw phase probably in our hand. And I believe that a good play in this scenario and this simplified game state will be to special summon also Q from the graveyard in order to activate the effect, and special summon Ghost Ogre so we can have one more interruption.
Yeah, so we're going to normal summon down the Fallen of Albaz. We are going to attempt to contact fuse with the remix. This is going to force Samir to utilize remix here. The options to come back, you're probably going to be looking at maybe a Rico, just to make sure you don't give your opponent an attribute that could be that effective in this one. So we're definitely changing that remix. You don't want your opponent getting direct, easy access to Mirror Jade. We also need to keep in mind that the graveyard effect of Medius de Pure is very, very effective.
So as you mentioned, Rico has been summoned through the effect of remix, and I believe that Veiler was added to the hand, or it was something else, because I can see a 2-star card. So we may add mix for a follow-up.
Possibly here. It looks like the Rico is going to get instantly met by the Ash Blossom. I feel that maybe the Effect Veiler could have been a bit better if that wasn't the card added back.
But I believe, yes, that we have already another copy, and this will seal the game for Samir.
Yeah, Effect Veiler putting in a lot of work there. Unfortunately for Herman, wasn't able to really get going like we saw in round number 10. But we are going to be seeing exactly what else could be coming from this. He's definitely not out of it. There's still a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh to be played. Samir takes one more step closer to that top cut here at the EUWCQ. So take me through kind of the risk and reward. So if you play, as we kind of saw here, we've got 20 non-engine cards that don't gain you access to your engine. Do you feel that there is a limit that you should be working towards, or what was from a deck building perspective?
From a deck building perspective, I truly believe that the 2 pilots that we just saw are 2 of the best European players of all and deck builders of all time. So I'm truly believing that they had a direct plan on what to do. The only issue with Elfnote Power Patron, in my opinion, it is that it is one of those decks that you can't expect to not be so consistent when you play it in a 2 days event. However, I believe it is one of those decks that you can also expect to work pretty well, because your opponent may not have a very good knowledge about your cards, especially with Power Patron, which may confuse some players. And I believe that you can get some people off guard and do not expect those combos that you are going to potentially do.
Yeah, exactly that. And as you already mentioned, these duelists are two of the highest caliber duelists, so they'll know how to shake off something like that. And usually kind of what you need to do is put it down to luck just wasn't on my side for that one. The heart of the cards kind of wasn't there, but then it will come back later on as well. So Herman will definitely be back. He's not going to be going anywhere. And then from Samir's side, how do you kind of power through in regards to keeping your feet on your ground on this one? I mean, he's very well accomplished, but just for the other duelists out there, when you find yourself in this particular position, 4 more rounds of Swiss, the possibility of taking that step into the top 8, do you go off and decompress and take a good breath of air, or do you constantly keep running through your future plays?
So to be honest, I used to always listen to music to calm me down, and I feel this is the best advice that we can offer, meaning that if you start to overthink, this is the scenario that you might make some misplays and because you feel all the pressure at the moment. And I think the best thing to do is just calm down, relax, understand that each match it's different. In a match you may misplay, in the other one you may play like the best Yu-Gi-Oh match of your life. So you just need to understand that it is one step at a time and just let it be. And you know, if you even make a misplay or whatever happens, just trying to relax, breathe some air, and everything can happen.
Yeah? What type of music did you listen to? I'm curious.
So it was like, you know, those rock music that it is though alternated in more relaxing, you know, classical style.
That is beautiful. So always relax those nerves, get ready to go again. So we saw a lot of very interesting cards on that one. We've already mentioned how important Fallen the Virtuous has been so far this weekend as well. We've seen Fedrolis Harmonia also putting in a lot of work. Is there another card in particular that you can think of that you have seen a lot this weekend that you feel can kind of change the tide of a duel?
So Fallen the Virtuous, for me, it is one of those cards that really showcased an amazing experience during the whole weekend. I feel like this card gives so much potential, even with a second effect to special summon if you control an Ecclesia in the fields or graveyards. And it is one of those cards that I'm really looking forward to see how it will manage to do in the top cut. And obviously, I think that you are going to talk about Harmonia.
Yeah. I think Fedrolis Harmonia is such an incredibly powerful card, but also a very, very good card in general as well. So we see all of the different access and the different kind of synchro monsters it allows you to utilize in your extra deck as well for their graveyard effects. But who better to talk us through how good Fedrolis Harmonia is, or how good just the cool tune strategy is than Samir himself. So we're going to throw it over to Marcello and allow him to take it away.
Thank you, and yes, indeed, I'm joined by a legend of the game. You know, it's always a pleasure to have you here, Samir. So, first of all, you always bring a lot of energy. How are you feeling right now?
Me, I'm good feeling, but I'm much stressed because the objective is go to the world again.
Of course. I mean, you have been there. I think the European Championship is a special tournament for you, always having a lot of success.